Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So, the race for humanoid robots and AI is speeding up. But one of the main bottlenecks is the race in energy generation. And in the middle of the race, the American government jumps on the brakes, letting the Chinese government speed ahead, as China has in the pipeline enough manufacturing capacity of energy generation from solar to deploy a whole US energy consumption of solar every single year going forward. And the US has just hit the brakes on fast deployable energy generation. And in the end, the bottleneck for AGI, artificial general intelligence, is not going to be chips or data. It will be who actually has the energy generation to power all of this training and inference for AI and humanoid robots. And the US has just hit the brakes. So maybe Elon Musk might end up being the one saving the US in this race, as it seems he is the only one thinking big enough to keep up with China. As it really does not seem like the US government understand what is happening and what is needed. And this might be the most important arms race in human history. And the US is slowing things down. Really bad timing. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in. So Elon's brother, Kimball Musk, wrote on X about the new Trump administration's bill. American energy independence is critical to our nation's security. The new bill will drive solar and wind energy growth to zero. Zero. Where are we going to get our energy from to compete with China? We will need 25 new natural gas plants built every year to replace our amazingly successful solar and wind energy growth that this bill will kill. Do the math. It takes 5 to 7 years to build a natural gas plant. The AI race will be won or lost in the next few years. Our energy grid are already collapsing. We need more energy now, not in 2032. American energy independence goes away because of grudge against solar? Come on, guys, we can do better than this. Yes, I don't think many get just how fast China can move when they put their mind to it. Just look at how China has outgrown any other automaker country in car production and export. They went from being the last in 2020 to be the #1 exporter of cars in 2023. In 3 years. And have only accelerated since, and in 2024 they were dominating global car export. China can move incredibly fast when they put their mind to it. And now the US and China are kind of in an arms race to become the dominating leader in AI, as AI and robots are going to be a much bigger market than the auto industry, or any other industry for that matter. If there has ever been an arms race that should be labeled the most important in history, I think AI and robotics is it. But as we have all come to learn, AI data centers for training are using a lot of power. And to get to AGI first, you need to build huge data centers for training your AI models, and therefore you need huge amount of energy to power these data centers. China knows this and is not just building production capacity of solar and energy storage because they care so much about the environment. They are doing it to become the most dominating economy on the planet. And now Trump is killing solar and wind energy generation in the US. Basically the only thing that can be produced fast enough to deploy to make sure the US doesn't fall behind in energy generation. Trump is talking about nuclear, but building a nuclear power plant takes an average between 6 to 8 years, so unless the US government has found a way to potentially shorten this time tremendously, China will run away from them in this race like a runaway train. Because what China is building right now and have plans for over the next 5 years. So manufacturing capacity for solar, which they already have in the pipeline, that will be ready by 2030, is 2 terawatts of solar and 8 terawatts of battery storage. In manufacturing capacity, that is enough to produce about 4,000 terawatts of energy generation in a year from solar. Just listen to this little video clip.
And I think you're 100% right that people do not appreciate the difference in scale here, where like the rate, like China's still growing exponentially on their solar deployments. Yeah. The targets for what their solar and battery manufacturing capacity, I'm not saying that they're necessarily 100% going to use all of that, domestically in their country. But what that could do, right, if you take 2 terawatts of solar and about 8 terawatt hours of storage, that's an entire U.S. worth of electricity generation. That's like 4,000 terawatt hours a year of 24/7 solar power. They're going to be able to make that every single year.
What is fucking when?
By like 2030. Like this is extreme.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
This is like
that actually, of all the things you've said that blown my mind, that's fucking insane.
This is like current capacity announced and under development. Even the stuff that like they're making today, like, and not all of this is utilized at 100%. And like, I'm not saying that for certain, if you're talking about industrial capacity, it's like
that's not like that's how much oil we get out of the ground. That's like 30 years of oil.
Right.
So it's like multiply that by 30.
The exponential. This is what I'm saying of like
that's fucking
this
insane.
This is like the amount of solar and storage that they're building is equivalent to building an entire
U.S. power grid.
An entire U.S. power grid. Every year.
By 2030.
By 2030.
What?
This is the thing that I'm so frustrated about the like Western conversations around solar is that we talk about solar as like, oh, it's low energy density, or oh, it takes up so much material or whatever. And I'm like it
prime
is
farmland.
The only thing that you're going to be able to deploy at terawatt scale every single year, and it lasts for decades.
So the entire US energy consumption that China will have in production capacity by 2030, that they theoretically could deploy at home every single year going forward by 2030. And Trump wants to build a nuclear power plant, which takes 6 to 8 years, and an average nuclear power plant produce around 1,000 megawatts of capacity. So a 1,000 megawatt nuclear power plant operating at a 90% capacity factor will produce approximately 7,800 gigawatt hours of electricity per year. China will have a production capacity for solar that can produce 4,000 terawatts of energy every year from 2030. And the US will probably not even have that nuclear power plant online. And that was gigawatts versus terawatts. Nuclear power plants are the most expensive form of energy generation on top of all of that. But the most important thing here is that they will not be able to compete in this race of how much energy generation will be available fast enough, which will eventually be the limiting factor for the AI race, just as Elon predicted. And the good thing about solar is that it's still getting cheaper and better all the time. And even you and I can buy solar and put them on our roof of our house and generate our own energy. And we're also seeing Tesla's virtual power plant helping out grids around the world. So we are seeing that energy generation is being decentralized and not relying so much on a centralized big power plant. But Trump seems to be putting a big knife in this progress we have been seeing, and is letting the Chinese run away with the price. And as Jesse wrote to Kimball's post, they don't understand. Yeah, it really seems like they don't. And he shared this chart that has a striking resemblance to the chart about the export of cars, where China came out of nowhere and passed the whole world in just 3 years. And now China is passing the whole world in solar production and will rapidly have the biggest energy generation capacity on the planet by far, and can in 2030 supply the whole world with what is equivalent to the entire US energy consumption. And the US is the biggest energy consumer. The US alone stands for around 17% of the energy consumption in the world. But it's not so much about that, but more about the energy needed for AI and robotics that are coming. Training large language model like Grok or ChatGPT requires immense computational power, often consuming 1,000 megawatt hours per model based on estimates from OpenAI's ChatGPT-3. With more energy, China could train more models, iterate faster, and dominate AI research, potentially leapfrogging Western tech giants. The Science Direct study on AI and renewable energy in China shows a positive correlation since 2018, suggesting a feedback loop where energy surplus fuel AI-driven renewable innovations. But if China will have a surplus of thousands of terawatts, the amount of AI training they can do will be unmatched. And that is just the AI brain, not even talking about the robot. AI-powered humanoid robots rely on real-time data processing, which also demands consistent energy. China's potential energy lead could support advanced autonomous systems like self-navigating drones, warehouse bot, autonomous vehicles, and humanoid robots, outpacing competitors like the US. And we already know that China has all the materials for the batteries, pumping out solar like no one else, and is dominating the drone space as well. And we are also seeing a huge push in China for humanoid robots and AI. So China's energy surplus for solar could propel it to AI and robotic dominance by 2030, powering data centers, robots, and manufacturing at scale the US might struggle to match under current policy. So I think Elon Musk stepping down from politics and being back focusing on technology is a very good thing, also for the US, as I don't see the US government being able to keep up with the Chinese powerhouse in this arm race for AI and robots. But Elon Musk might just, as we know he is thinking about how to get 1 terawatt of energy generation online the fastest, because he knows that the most important thing to win the race for AGI is having a huge data center for training and AI inference and the power to run all of this. And Elon Musk is with XAI building their next data center that will be 1 gigawatt data center, so about 10 times bigger than the biggest today. So Elon Musk might be working on finding a way to catch up with the Chinese. The International Energy Agency note that the data centers driven by AI currently account for 2 to 4% of electricity consumption in major economies like the US and China, with demand expected to surge as AI application expands. China's projected capacity to produce an entire US worth of solar generation annually by 2030 could provide a massive energy surplus. This could power an estimated 400 to 1,000 additional large-scale AI data centers, assuming, 100 to 200 megawatt per data center, based on current industry standards, far outpacing US grid capacity growth, which is constrained by regulatory delays and aging infrastructure. But Elon is not thinking in megawatt. He is thinking in terawatt hours. He is thinking very, very big. So for Tesla to be one of the leaders in humanoid robots and AI could turn out to be very important for the US, as it does not seem like the US government really understand this, but Elon surely does. And if he finds a way to get energy generation online faster than anything else, combined with Tesla starting printing labor over the next 5 years with their Optimus robot, Elon Musk might just be the one that will make sure the US doesn't fall behind China in this race. With XAI and Tesla's AI and robots and Tesla's energy storage, and hopefully finding a new way for extreme scale and deployment of energy generation. Because no matter what, the AI is coming, and it's coming fast. And the adoption rate is faster than anything we have ever seen before. Like the International Energy Agency shows on this chart, household adoption rate of digital technologies in the United States. And as you can see, AI is far outpacing both personal computer and the internet. Of course, the energy efficiency of computer chips is also improving every single year, so that will of course help with how much energy generation is needed. But still, this is growing so fast that energy generation will basically become the end game. As Henry Kissinger once said, who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy controls the nation. Who controls the money controls the world. Well, a modern version of that might just be, who controls the sun's energy controls the world. Because energy availability today will shape tomorrow's technological landscape. And we are entering the world of AI and humanoid robots that will reshape our society as we know it. You don't want to lose this race. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.